All right, hey folks, I'm here with Wendy Jorgensen of Airstreams. And I know that's now maybe the last time I get to say that, but Wendy, thank you for joining us on the podcast today.
I'm excited to be here.
All right, let's get this started. You have a neat idea about a game to play, and nobody's ever asked for this before, so I want to get started. Wendy's idea is there are words we cannot use. If we do use them, how much money per word to start with?
Let's start at a quarter.
Okay.
Because if it gets insane, like that's going to tally really quick.
Right.
But I'd say maybe $1. You know what? Let's be nice. Let's start at $1.
$1.
$1.
$1 a word. And these words are Airstreams, Renewable, Solar, Wind, Dave, Jeff.
And our filler words.
So,
and
no right.
No right.
As a phrase, I suppose. All right. And then, so Jacob's going to run the AI afterwards and find out how much money we each have to put in the pot. And then that's going to get donated to a charity of your choice here locally.
Yeah. Or your
Local
choice.
one.
Like if I have more words, you get to choose the charity. If I, or vice versa.
The winner chooses.
The winner chooses.
Oh
yeah.
my goodness.
So you want to be the one with the least amount of words.
All right. I think there's going to be a good donation here pretty soon. We'll see. What a cool game. Thanks for thinking about that.
Yeah. Well, hey, it's all, like I'd mentioned, it's all about being aware, and like the filler words, just trying to be cognitive of, not being, like, so.
Yes. Now I don't even want to talk. Okay.
I'm sorry. We can take it off the table.
No, you got me thinking about it. That's great. Well, Wendy, tell us what you're doing right now. I know you have a ton of passion for finding people entry jobs into a particular industry. But tell us more about what you're doing right now.
I have been for about the last year involved into our apprenticeship program. We started that, actually did the standards back in 2018. We didn't launch it until about a year and a half ago. I almost said it. The CFO decided to, I can't see, that's hard.
It is.
It's a little hard. He pulled me in and said, hey, let's get this started. So we're working on it. Total 91 apprentices since we started. So I think that's really exciting. We have about 70 active right now. So that's kind of like the newest passion is that. So I talk apprenticeship with everybody. I don't care who you are, if you've got a competing program or not, something similar, because it's all about building that workforce that we need. The whole industries, the infrastructure industries needs it. And that's the way I'm going to get around those other words, is saying infrastructure industries.
That's pretty good. That's pretty, yeah, you were prepped. That's pretty good. 91 apprentices so far. And so you said 70 some active.
Yeah.
Where are they? What are they doing?
They're all over the United States. And West Coast, East Coast, north to south, they're all over the place. Nobody's offshore, of course, right now that I know of, but there's at least 2 companies that could potentially send them offshore. So I'm kind of excited to see if that happens. There's a couple of apprentices working with Altair right now, and I think they might technically be able to be classified as journeymen. We got to sit down, and I think so, because I'm looking at everything.
A couple of our first ones.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah. And so I'm excited about that. You and one other company, you guys are like tied neck and neck to see who gets like that first like Airstreams journeyman apprentice through the. So.
Oh, we might have the first.
You may be.
All right, we're pulling some reports.
Yeah, we got to pull some reports. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
But they're working on theirs right now too. So, we'll see.
Very cool. Very cool.
So that's the newest main passion. But of course, as always, building the relationship with the companies and the industry intermediaries like, SIA and ACP and all that. And even on the telecom side of the house, because we're not just,
sure,
about powering the nation. It's about everything to do with us working.
Yes. Okay. That's the apprenticeship piece.
Yeah.
What else? Because I know you do a few key roles.
Yeah. So one of the things that I do behind the scenes is we work in accreditation, licensing, and governing department. So my team, ding, ding, ding. I used a word. I can't use that word.
The SO word?
The SO word. Anyways. So the licensing Governing and Accreditation Department. If you're not in it, it's kind of hard to like understand. And the best way that I try to describe it is like some people understand what insurance underwriting is basically we dot all the I's, cross all the T's, and try to adhere to the policies that are written. So not only are we compliant with local, state, and federal laws, but our own policies internally as well. So
okay, so these are state and federal. What agencies regulate them? Help me from the top down.
Okay, so at the very tippy top, we've got the Veterans Administration and basically the Department of Defense, which, because we are a skill bridge program, we have permission from the Department of Defense to be on military installations.
Okay.
And so we have to have an MOU, memorandum of understanding, with the skills, that is bad, I cannot say that. Skill Bridge Program from the Department of Defense. So that's the key is that.
Skill Bridge Program.
Yeah.
It is kind of tough to say.
It is. But in every state, we have to do the research and find out, okay, do we need to be approved by that state to do business in that state? And some places we don't have to adhere to certain educational, get their approval. Like they're like, good, you're waived, you're on a military installation. But for example, here in California, in Texas and Kentucky, there are extra rules that we have to adhere to. So we have those in addition to our national accreditation standards. So there is the Department of Education, basically approves an entity. Ours is called ASSET, Accrediting Council for Continuing Education and Training, gives them permission to regulate vocational institutions, whether they're college or non-college degree. And so we have to get their permission and adhere to their rules and regulations.
Wow. This is a lot to take in.
It is a lot, and it hurts your brain.
Yeah.
And basically, to make everybody happy, it actually boils down to very simply, get them in, get them trained, help them find employment within 6 months of graduation. They need to work about 35 days, and everybody's happy.
Why do we have these state and federal regulated programs and policies, and how do they benefit you guys and the students?
So it benefits the students, so they're not predatory schools out there that are just going to take their money and just slough them off. We are held accountable to make sure that, are they going to benefit from our program? That's the thing. We have to do that analysis to make sure that they're going to benefit from our program. Are we doing our due diligence to help them find that employment within the industry? Because we can't have them come through training, go be a door greeter at Walmart and claim them. That doesn't work. When institutions do that, they disappear. And there was one a few years ago, ITT Technical Institute, that this happened to. They were claiming they brought people in, basically took their money, and then didn't help them find a job for the industry which they were training. Now, if they go work on the solar panels on Walmart, that's something different because that's within the industry.
So the regulatory body is so that the company is not just stealing from the student?
It's making sure
the student's money?
Well, yeah. Well, in quality. It's also to ensure that we're giving a quality product.
Okay.
Not just that, we're, being shysty, but it is, it's something to be proud of because it's a lot to go in to make this happen. Because there's tons of programs out there that you can go and get training. I mean, you can go to massage therapy school and, become a massage therapist, but who's making sure that they're training you properly? Who's, are they teaching you the proper body ergonomics and things like that?
I'm with you on the accreditation, but then you talked about getting them to work. Mm-hmm. And a certain amount of time that they're working, and there's a regulatory body evaluating you to make sure you're doing that.
Yes.
Well, I have 2 children that graduated college, and those schools didn't care if they got a job at all. So what's up? And they went to good California schools.
So in a Title IV school, it's a different ball of wax. A lot of other entities are not held to that same standard. Because they're a different vocational institution. I work for a private for-profit non-college degree granting post-secondary vocational institution, which is a lot of words.
Yes.
But when you think about it, you'll have a community college that somebody spends 2-3 years and, tons of money to go get an education, but they're not required by their governing agency to do that. Now, there are new regulations coming down that are really difficult for a Title IV school. We're not Title IV, which is kind of nice not to have to work with, because there's so many more regulations that everybody's got their regulation they have to get down to.
So, I'm in love with the place you work, right? And one of the, you got my brain on these words.
I'm sorry.
One
we can
of
totally
the no, I'm in it. We're in it to win it now. I just make my donation, be done. But I love that you're finding them jobs, right? And I've ran into, and we've hired quite a few at Altair, and I've ran into other students plenty of times, and they talk about how many resumes and applications they sent out. And I hear numbers from 80 to 100 and some odd applications that go out, and I just I hear these high numbers over and over again, and I'm just so impressed, right? Because they're going to find a job. It's only a matter of time. I always had the joke with my kids. Did you know what happened to the person that went looking for a job? They found one. It's simple. Just go looking. But you guys take that as part of the core business model of this company.
Yeah.
And I love it. And it also has frustrated me watching my children go to college, and these colleges don't care. I met with a couple of leaders of another local college in our town. And, they actually sought me out and let's have a talk because our kids need jobs after this. And I went, great, start sending resumes.
Things are starting to change on that end.
They sat there and said, we don't have someone to do that. And, we'd love to. It was just like some dream conversation. And, I'm a little passionate about that. So I was passionate in the conversation and what I thought about this.
Yeah.
Why don't we regulate those other schools and put them through the same thing that you do?
They're coming under new regulations. There is a lot. I'm not well versed into that side of the house when it comes to those kind of institutions, and I'm kind of thankful because there's only so much brain power you have. But there are new regulations coming down, but I don't know why they aren't held to that standard. It hurts my heart. And my youngest son had looked to go to a vocational school down in Rancho Cucamonga. Well, the recruiter wasn't prepared for the questions that I had because coming from what I do, I literally printed out their school catalog and I had gone through it and I looked at it and I had all these questions and I laid out and I asked them, I said, so how do you help him find a job? And he's like, well, when he's in school, we'll help, get a job, at AutoZone or something like that. And I said, no, after. Where are your statistics? Because I'm thinking that they had to do what I did. Yeah. I thought that they had to not only report, but they had to publish and things like that. So I deep dived and I couldn't find any placement rate for them or nothing like that. And so when I'm asking him this stuff, he's like, yeah, I don't know what our placement rate is for our graduates. And I was like,
no, they care about how many kids are accepting each year. Those numbers are always published.
That is it. And
they don't care after that.
$55,000 for 18 months of education.
Yeah.
And that did not include housing, did not include food, didn't include all of that.
Yeah, you can't even eat yet.
Yeah, can't even eat yet. And I was like, that is a lot of money for no statistics to back up anything. And yeah, I knew the industry. He wanted to go into the automotive industry, be a diesel mechanic. That would have been perfect. No problem, but I got your back. And I'll help you find a job. But it just was not going to work out,
Yeah, it's frustrating. It really is. I'm just so disappointed in our country's educational, post-high school educational system. It's really rotten. And these kids come out with the wrong idea about what kind of job they're going to get, how much money they're going to make, where they're going to live, how they're going to live. No one gave them any idea no correct ideas. They're all, these philosophical pipe dreams that they come out, because the truth is you're going to get the same entry level job as the kid that got it at 18 years old and didn't go to college, but your career has the opportunity to progress past this other person because you have this higher level of education. But you're still going to start at the bottom. You have to start at the bottom, and they don't get it.
No.
They don't get it.
They don't. And honestly, it does them good. Even if they go to college and they get a 2 or 4 year degree, it does them so good to start at the bottom so they understand the full life cycle of everything. Yeah, they can go to college and learn why the wind blows and meteorology and all this stuff. And, so they can go build the farm out there in the middle of no man's land. But in the end of the day, they're going to have the respect of their crew, their team, their peers, if they can talk from beginning to end.
Right.
And not everybody wants to sit behind the desk.
No.
Some
people got to suck it up and do it for a while.
They do. Some people do.
There are people out there that are fearful of a desk. Yeah. And other people fearful of, taking the trash out.
Yeah.
But you got to start at the bottom, whatever that bottom is for your industry, for your job type. I wish we were regulating the other schools the same way that you are doing, having to go through this. It would change. It's an interesting phenomenon of the free market, country that we live in, and it's always a matter of chasing the money. So this is big deal for you because you're not going to have much of a business if you don't follow these regulations, right?
Exactly.
It's not a big deal for the UCs, for example, because that's not how they get their money. But if they worked and, they weren't going to get paid until that kid had a job for a period of time, boy, things would change.
Yeah, if they were regulated a little bit more like we were, then it would change. And I know that there are regulations coming down to help with that. But I can't, in my heart of hearts, this is the part that hurts so much. How could you not have passion for what you're doing and help? Like if I worked at a university or a community college, I would want to help that person. Like, even if it's for 3 years, that they only want to go in the industry because their goal is to, go own a gym or whatever is their goal. Well, I help them accomplish that short-term goal. So it's so hard for somebody who's as passionate as me to not be like, how could you just sit there and be like, yeah, I'm just going to collect my paycheck.
Yeah.
Good. I don't care. I'm not. Yeah, no.
They don't care. And they really think that they're justified and educated and making the correct, wisest decision for these kids. It's just they're living in, fantasy land. And let's talk about the money, because you said $55K for a year or 18 months of education, and 18 months, and we haven't eaten yet.
Yeah.
And we want to have a roof, and probably some transportation.
Rancho Cucamonga.
So go ahead and add 30K, right?
Yeah.
Be fair.
Yeah. And that's with a roommate.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You got a bed, and that's about, kitchen and a bathroom, and you're sharing it. So, and I've heard economic people talk about the college and university financial bubble is going to burst at some time. And I think they're absolutely wrong, because they're not putting the children in debt. They're putting the children's parents in debt. Since I had to live this, the kid can't get a loan unless the parent signs it.
Yes.
And we saw that and went, well, hard pass. Hard pass. I know how to make a financial gamble in life. And no, that kid needs to go and do it a very tough way, right? And that's what makes them stronger. But that's why the bubble's going to burst. They're putting people in their 40s, 50s, and 60s in further debt, not the children. What a scam.
Yeah, it is. People don't realize that that's how that happens, because they think, oh, well, we'll go get, Pell Grant and FAFSA and all this kind of stuff. Well, it doesn't, not everybody qualifies. It covers very little. My son White, that works with your son, he went to AV college for a year and a half, and he was doing their A&P program. And other than a couple $100 for books and then gas for him to go to school for a year and a half, that was all, because at the time, everything fell into place. But if you wanted to do more than that, it was going to start coming out really hefty. And that was just a community college. So, we hit that at the right time. So, he took care of all of it himself.
You showed me a picture of our boys in a man basket or a boom truck or something from this week. Ask mine how much he had to spend. UC Santa Barbara.
Yeah, I don't doubt that was
He's in
six figures.
He's hanging off the same.
Turbine, yeah.
We don't say that other word.
Oh, was that on the list?
Turbine's not on the list.
Oh, we should have. We should have put that on the list.
Now it's on the list.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, what else?
So
what else do we need to add to the list?
let's see how it goes. Right? Because that's what you have to do. The idea is you get into an industry, you have to start at the bottom. You don't know anything about that industry. I'm very proud of you. You learned how to read and write and learn a few things, and your use of the spoken written word and human interaction skills have improved drastically. But go get your climb gear. Yeah.
Yeah, suit up.
Yeah. Here's a shirt with your name on it.
If you're lucky.
If you're lucky, right?
If you're lucky.
Yeah, right. And be happy about it.
Yeah.
Yes, and get started somewhere. Or here's a desk and a cubicle, and I know that looks like torture, but be happy about it.
Yeah.
Look at you. All right. I'm super passionate about the way that you guys find people jobs and place them and get them started. I don't know of the three things that you're doing, what your favorite is, but that is my favorite for sure.
When it comes down to it, it's helping people, period.
Yeah.
Helping people change their lives, because from the get-go, for me, coming into the company was a second chance. I hadn't worked behind a desk in years. Like I'd been, retail and housekeeping. I mean, 2008 financial crisis was just awful. And there was some stuff that happened before that didn't help the situation. But I did anything and everything because I wasn't going to drive off the mountain to go work.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a beat up car that would not have it was not fun. And so how I wound up there, I was just like, at first I was like, oh, I'll get back into the office thing and I'll be there 5 years. I had a 5-year plan. Well, 7 years comes up and I'm like, oh, I'm still here. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'm not going anywhere right now. And it was interesting changing departments because I was very fearful at first because I was like, I know where I had been in that one department, which was the admissions department. So talking to the students, getting them into the class. So that was really fun, telling them all the benefits and the features of the program and how we help them and everything like that. So that was really neat. But my now boss at that time, she was not my boss. We were colleagues. And she's like, hey, how do you feel about resumes? And I looked at her and I said, no. I don't want to do resumes. And thought about it 24 hours. I'm like, why not? I can learn how to do resumes. I mean, I write my own, but doing other people's resumes, no. That's the most time-consuming thing when you're first starting is that. But I think it's when they come back and they tell the stories about what they accomplished after. For every 10 horrible resumes, you get the one person that comes back and says, thank you. Thank you for helping me change my life. And that does... If you're having a bad day, bad year or whatever, that one conversation you get is like, oh, thank you. Don't make me cry.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I love it. And when they come back, they, we've had, back when we were in the old building, there would people pass through town and they would come out and take selfies in front of the old building and we'd get an email with them. Oh, sorry, you guys weren't there, stop to say hi. And, we have all those pictures and emails and that seeing them change their lives is just so nice. That's my favorite thing out of all of it.
You're living the old tale of give a fish and teach a person to fish.
Absolutely.
Right? Because the teach a person to fish, you were giving them a skill. Mm-hmm. You're giving them a career. They can feed themselves. I mean, you're giving them a career. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. Or you're getting them started. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know how to put them in the right place. And at the right time because they're at your school knowing it's the right time for them to make this transition. Mm-hmm. Now you got me a little teary-eyed here.
Hey, I'm just proud of myself. I haven't cried yet.
Let's
because I can cry really easy. I wasn't joking when I said tissue. Depending on the subject.
These students are coming to your school and they often know generally what's next, right? But how do you talk them into working in one of these fields that we can't say, right? Because at a high school, at all the UCs and the colleges and stuff like that, None of those counselors say, you'd be perfect for climbing 300 foot in the air every day. You look like the kind of person that could go work outside in 120 degrees in the beating sun for 12 hours, 6 days a week. This is what I think. But you're putting them in, you're putting them in these places. How do you talk them into that? What's the advice?
We have really great recruiters out there, and most of them are pretty much straight up and honest. You want to, what was one of them said one time, he's like, oh, do you want to love your job and hate your pay? Was like his line. And they're like, what do you mean love my job and hate my pay? And they do, a lot of them are already coming from an industry, and whether it's military or oil, where they're already working in that kind of environment, or they've been exposed to it. But most of them, they love the idea of working in small teams. Mm-hmm. And having that camaraderie and having each other's back. And so this is another proponent of that, is being able to continue something that they have an affinity for. Or they're an adrenaline junkie.
Yeah, I've met some of these.
I've met a few of those that have come in, and they're already, they've already, climbed this and done that. And it's not a fit for everybody. And there are roles that don't require them to climb 300 feet or more multiple times a day, but they are very well aware of it from the get-go. The recruiter talks to them, the admissions department, the career services people talk to them and say, hey, you got to climb to graduate. If you don't climb, you're not graduating. So you need to be able to do this.
That's $1.
But it is really hard. It is really hard sometimes when they're just lost and they're like, I don't know what to do. We're like, okay, well, give this a shot. Give this a year. Because you've got to find your path. Just like when somebody's graduating high school, they don't know what they want to do for the rest of your life. So, we tell them, okay, go work at McDonald's for, 6 months while you figure out what your life is going to be,
Right.
Like just do something. Don't stay home and do this all day.
Right.
Do something with that. And it is really hard, but you explain the benefits and the features of it. And it could be, there's the one company out there that gives them a 401k and a pension. Mm-hmm. And there's other ones that, offer the opportunity for them to travel, do offshore or whatever it may be, or work on a ginormous project in the middle of Arizona or, and they're like excited about that because they grew up there and they're, an hour from home and they don't realize that. Or they're like, I have spent my entire life in New Hampshire. I'm good. I don't want to be there. Where can I go? I want to travel. And so we try to do our best to explain, hey, there's so much work out there. Even though we struggle in the winter, there is so much work for all the industries, not just the telecom or the other industry we can't mention. But there's so much work out there. There really is. And just if you're open to relocation or travel, there's no reason you shouldn't have a job.
Right. Okay.
There really isn't.
I love what you're sharing because it's spot on. I just want to keep always sharing about how to get started, right? And mm-hmm. some people have this passion mm-hmm. and aptitude for a mechanical field, mm-hmm. for an electrical field, for a hydraulic field, for energy mm-hmm. in general. Awesome piece. Or maybe pick one of those types of energy production because they have a passion there. That's not everybody.
No.
And then, yes, we do talk about the lifestyle, that camaraderie, mm-hmm. right? And working with a team. And there are a lot of folks that never really build up that electrical mechanical aptitude, but boy, they love that team mm-hmm. and they're the best person on that team in their own way mm-hmm. because you don't have to be the best, mm-hmm. Electrical engineer or, heavy lift specialist, mm-hmm. right? And then there's the other one that I think I try and say the most is it doesn't really matter. You're getting into a leading industry in our country mm-hmm. and there are all these other jobs that you don't get to see until you get started. So just get started, right? You don't know what it might be like to be a leader, a manager. Yeah. How about safety? Maybe you want to be in sales. Maybe you like running logistics, maybe you like procurement, right? All these other fields, maybe you like finance and you're going to get into that piece.
Yeah.
But you don't know until you get started in an industry with a company.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And there's so many other jobs within the industry, if you understand that basic foundation, you're going to excel. You're going to be the best salesman or whatever because you can speak the lingo. Yeah, I did customer and service and sales long before I came to the company. So like I could do that. I just needed to learn the product, even though it's not a product. Just but that helps so much in that. And all this, it's amazing the skill levels we have come through. And I always, when people talk about this, well, do I have to know this, that, or the other? Honestly, we've had kids straight out of high school that did nothing. They didn't even do like drama club setting up the stage. Like they didn't do audio visual, nothing. They didn't do, and they've been able to go into the industry. And everything from a Marine Corps electrician, had 10 years of electrical experience to a Coast Guard guy that was just the chef on the ship. And they all come in, get the same training to get them that skill to get in the industry because they need to start somewhere. But for us to get to that point, we had to go through all those other accrediting, make all those other entities happy in order to produce our leaders in the industry.
We'd like to thank our sponsor, Altair Energy Services, and their highly trained, expert technical staff, leveraging decades of renewable power management experience into customized solutions for everyone to meet their energy goals and contribute to a better future for all. Altair's team of hardworking, respected experts are providing full-scope, turnkey repairs, planned and unplanned maintenance, system upgrades, fully autonomous technical crews, supplemental staffing, and customized dynamic scheduling to fit your power production needs. Contact Altair at info@altairenergyservices.com and learn more about their wide range of capabilities across multiple power technologies and platforms. I got a buddy in Iowa that I think he's been in our industry about 8 or 10 years now, and he goes, I was a turkey farmer. His whole life is a turkey farmer. Well, he's doing great. You know why? Because he's got an aptitude for how things work. He can fix anything. He's very creative. When you're a turkey farmer, you're by yourself on this thing, and you got to make sure the food's working and the water's running and the heat and environmental control and all of the utilities that go into making that happen. Yeah. So he's not just a turkey farmer, right? He's got a lot more going for him that translates, and I think a lot of but that's his joke. Yeah. But a lot of other skills translate well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they do. Yeah, as long as they keep an open mind about there's more than one way to skin a cat. You can't necessarily apply that to fixing one of the machines. Yeah, there we go. But you can learn a lot. Like conversation with my kiddo just yesterday, and he was talking about how there was. I don't remember what it was, V17 or whatever. I don't know. That's the only number that's sticking in my head right now.
Sure.
But he was like, yeah, he's all. And I was like, so did you learn anything? He's like, yeah, because this guy's, been around the block for a million years. And he's like, oh, I learned that we could do this, this, and this. And he'd always done it a little bit different than that. But he's like, oh, that just makes it so much easier and simpler. And so all the old guard still need to educate the young pups, with all of that knowledge, because just because technology is changing doesn't mean that old system is not applicable to the new system, because you're going to learn.
Yeah. Okay. And I made a comment about, your career can grow a little quicker than most if you went to those colleges, but the truth is not unless you hustle, right? Higher education and talent will lose to hustle 10 times out of 10.
Exactly.
So you still have to work harder than everybody else. You have to do your best every moment, or else you can just enjoy paying your $100,000 loan off until you're 60 years old.
Yeah.
Right? You still got to hustle. All right. Talk to me about these hiring managers. So you're connected to a lot of companies, and then you deal with a lot of folks that are interviewing your students and hiring managers. What's some advice you would give them?
The hiring managers? Be patient.
Okay.
A lot of the graduates have not really searched for jobs. Like they went straight from mom and dad into the service or whatever, or they've always gotten a job by word of mouth. So they're still learning those soft skills that don't come easy to everybody. Some people are just too blunt, just be patient. Yeah, they don't understand that. Yeah, maybe they shouldn't text. Maybe they should call and leave that voicemail and says, yes, I received your messages. I'm very interested in this opportunity. And just keep trying. Just be patient with them because they're still learning the soft skills. They understand everything else. It's just the soft skills. They just are not.
So be patient.
Be patient.
Is that during the interview or after you hire them?
Both.
Both? Okay.
Because new industry, but they might be struggling with, it could be just moving. It could be the travel aspect. I had a graduate that called me up and he's like, when do I do my laundry? And I'm like,
Sunday.
Yeah.
We know this rule.
And all these other questions. And, and granted, he was 19. He just left home, and so I'm like, well, talk to your teammates, and he didn't stay in the industry long, and that was his choice. But it just kind of was like in my head, I'm like, when you can, but at the same time, I was like, well, you can always do a fluff and fold and, all these things, but they don't understand that. So if companies may not have a program like, hey, this is, here's some best practices for you to make sure that you are successful in your new career. They may not have that. And so develop that if you don't have that. And they could be, suffering a little trauma, because they have a little PTSD for whatever reason. And it's not just military. Civilians have it too, whatever it may be. And yeah, just even have patience afterward. But at the same time, they're not a fit for the team. They're not a fit for a team. But it may not be that team. It may be a different division you can move them to or things like that. Because when you're really good at what you do, these hiring managers, they can just read it right off the bat and they know perfect. I know exactly which team. There's one hiring manager I love to death. She's fabulous at it. And she just listening to her interview and do everything, it's amazing. And she knows absolute fit. I got, these 6 different divisions I can put you in, but I really think you're going to fit over here with this team. That skill alone that she's developed, and there's other ones like that have developed that skill. It's awesome what they do for the students. And when they have the passion and patience for them coming in, they're so successful in the long run because they feel like, oh, somebody has my back. It's not just my crew of 4 or 6 that I'm on. I have the support of management as well coming in.
I got one more because I just lived this. One interviewee didn't interview well and followed up a few weeks later. Very, not professionally aggressive, right? Plenty of follow-up. Mm-hmm. And got on the phone and said, I bombed the interview. All right, what'd you do? Tell me about it. Okay, what can you tell me about those things now? Mm-hmm. Because you learned something. Yeah. And can I get another shot at an interview? So, yeah, you get another shot. You got hired. Mm-hmm. Right? So if you bomb the interview, I just want to share that advice.
Yeah.
Go write down what you were unhappy with. Do some research. Write down and say to yourself in the mirror how you would answer that question next time. And then go follow up with those hiring managers and get yourself another shot because they will. Can I get another interview? Yeah. And be honest, I bombed it. And the honesty from this person was just overwhelming. I loved it. I just fell in love with it. Yeah. And I think everybody else did too. And I think just keep chasing. Don't give up.
Oh, follow-up is key. When you're an applicant, follow-up is absolute key. Whether it's, email or call, however you communicated, but I love that they, that happened because I've been on that side of it, where I interviewed and I was like, oh God, that was awful. Mm-hmm. I totally talked myself out of the job. I was like, oh, okay. But this was, back in the late 90s. So no big deal now. But, I think about that. I was like, man, and it's so weird. I couldn't tell you how many times I've interviewed in my life, but I always remember the ones I bombed.
Sure. Yeah. But how you get to learn so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And then, and I think pestering people is okay. If you have email, phone numbers, use them.
Yeah.
Follow up. And, and they all go, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to bother you. Fine, say that. But you are trying to bother them, and you should try to bother them.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Especially if it's something you want.
That's right.
Whether it's the location or the company or things like that. I've seen it time and time again where it's not, they don't have an opening now. Like say it's Palm Springs. They want to work for, big company in Palm Springs, and they're just, knocking on the door. And whether it's 3 weeks, 6 months, they've gotten in that door because they were persistent, and I have one of our friends, local from here in town, and had been on the road actually building wind farms and all that, and he wanted to come back home. So one of the mines here, I don't know if it's every day or every week, but he called them up for a year until they finally had a spot for him. So he was able to come home. And so he did that. He came home and he was here with his family, and he did that until the kids were finally, 18 and done with school. And now they're, out living their best life, traveling again, doing what he was doing before. But it took, a year, but he was able to do it.
That's hustle. That's hustle. That wins. And hustle beats talent and education.
Yep.
Bomb an interview, but you got hustle, you're going to get a job. You're going to get into the right industry, the right company, the right area, whatever you say they're hunting for. I got a story. Someone just last week had been bugging me to do something for 2 years. And finally I went, fine. Fun story. I'll drop the name. Trevor McMahon. He's a manager at Nextera, I think. And but he's in Colorado, and I met him because I was doing the salesman thing when we launched Altair, and just driving to sites, telling everybody here's a trifold and a koozie, and here's who we are if you need any help. It's one of these people that I met. And very friendly, kept in touch. And he says, Adam, you got to come to this Veterans and Energy deal in D.C. And I went, I'm not a veteran, and I don't know what I can offer or why I should go.
That's
and
amazing.
I've been busy for 2 years. No, I haven't gone.
Oh.
Let me finish my story.
Sorry.
And also the last 2 years have been insanely busy for me.
Yeah.
So, but he was in town in Tehachapi, and I saw it. So we got together and we sat here and we visited for a while. All he did was talk about that and the program that he has voluntarily running at that company he works for. So he's very passionate about helping veterans. Mm-hmm. And why do you need me there? He goes, you have a lot of veterans that work at Altair. And I'm like, actually, somebody was telling me our numbers are like maybe over 60%.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to check that now. Could be better even. But he said, we need guys like you supporting too.
Yeah.
So we sat here, opened my laptop, and bought a ticket. There you go, kid. You talked me into it. Don't,
I'm
keep
jealous.
doing what you're doing. Because, that kind of persistent hustle wins every time.
Yeah.
Every time. Even on you and me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I get to go to that. I think it's January or February in DC.
I'd have to look, but I see that one. I haven't gone to that one, but I work with organizations that go to that. So that's why I was like, oh, so jealous.
Makes sense that you would be there. I don't really know Trevor kind of outlined it for me, and it's there are programs that foster vets getting into the industry and special programs, right? Like activities and team building, I suppose, help transitioning. And I was like, all right, I'm in. He starts saying how many people go to support. I'm like, all right, I'm in.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's
good.
So
that persistent hustle, you can't quit. And for those hiring managers, patience is a good one. And, the one I like to say after people have been doing it a lot of years, remember what it was like.
Yeah.
We forget.
Oh, absolutely.
We forget.
Absolutely.
And we're just trying to run numbers, right? Sometimes these hiring managers, I get it. HR people, call screening, they got their job to do too.
And it's so overwhelming for them because the applicant tracking system isn't always nice to them. It will kick people out that are a good candidate. And that's why our process works as well as it does. Because the candidate goes through whatever channels, whether it's direct email or the ATS. But we follow up with that employer, be like, hey, these 10 students applied in the last week. So hopefully their resume gets pulled out of the bottom of the pile and, put on somebody's desk so they get seen. And that's our whole goal, is to get their resume seen. Because after that, they're going to go, oh, they see the resume. Oh, that's an Airstreams graduate. Oh, awesome. All right, we're going to talk to them.
Yep.
And they, do their process. And so that it's amazing.
That's $1.
Yeah.
Man.
I know. See, I knew.
I got to start thinking about what charity I'm picking.
Dang it. I know. Oh, well, it is what it is. See, I thought I was going to do really good.
This is your game.
I was like, I won't say nothing. I'm going to be so good.
No, we don't know yet. Jacob will run the numbers.
Yeah. No. I stopped paying attention. I was like, I'm not going to count myself because AI will tell us what we did. But the process works really well. And some companies have direct links where it's an Airstreams graduate only. Yeah. It has the company name, and so they can go and apply in their specific forms, and don't go apply on that main link because they're going to get lost in the shuffle sometimes. And so I love the process. I love the relationship with the employers that we have because they'll do virtual or in-person recruiting events. I always try to get people to come out here to Tehachapi. I think we should have probably put Tehachapi on the list. But anyways.
You're really making this hard on us.
But I always want them to come out because I love showing off the facility. I really do. Yeah. I mean, I can spend an hour and a half showing everybody everything out there because it's just amazing to walk in. It really is. Because in 2019, when I can't say his name, but anyways,
some guy,
he was so excited to show this to us, and he's one of the founders, and he brought us in, and the building was dirty, dilapidated, and you walk in, and we walked in from the back, and so we walk into I'm going to call it the hangar, with all of the cranes and everything, and I mean, we're all, because 99% of us hadn't seen the building. We didn't work there 20 years ago, we didn't know. So we walk in and we're looking, and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. And I say to him, I said, do you think we could put a third story up there?
Yeah.
And he goes, why? It's not big enough. And I said, no. And it's not big enough. Really? It's not big enough. We're busting at the seams.
Wow.
But it was so awesome to just see that, to be back where it started, like the thought process. It's been 20 years next year that the original concept was thought of literally in that building. Mm-hmm. And so now it's going to come full circle 20 years. And when I started, there was only 18 other employees there. There's no way I would thought we would be at 9 locations and be where we are back. No, we're not going to do anything like that. And so
look at it now.
And I love the stories when they come back and they tell. And that's what fuels me is that opportunity to help people change their lives. Everything else, Yeah. Well, I like my team. I like my little team that we're on. We're good, and we all work really nice together, and they're awesome. But I think that those stories we hear back are the best part of it all.
Well, it makes sense. You're investing in those people, though. That's really what you're working for. Yeah. Are those stories?
We're teaching them the skills. We're giving them the tools to do well and succeed. Just up to them to use those tools they're given.
So now I owe $1. You're a member of several different organizations.
Yeah.
Several different organizations.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned. Yeah.
I know it's a big list.
I know, but all the words right here came into my head just now, so that's how I got hung up. But organizations that support our industry.
Yes.
You're a member of several, plus military organizations.
Yeah.
Vanguard, Nate, right?
Yeah.
SIA, ACP, all of these.
Yeah.
What's working well across the industry and what isn't working well?
Well, it's amazing because majority of them are all, other than like education and mentorship, other than that, they all want to develop the workforce, all of them. That because every industry needs it. Doesn't matter what it is. Everybody wants to develop the workforce. So they're, trying to find those avenues to make that happen. And it's like, well, it's all there and we all want the same thing. Well, what's not working is they don't talk to each other. They're just now, like, some of them are finally starting to talk to each other. And I don't know why they weren't talking to each other. It may have been like, well, we do the same thing. I don't need you, but they're all trying to do the same thing and develop the workforce. And they all have their own little niche in regards to, they all want to support the veteran workforce as well. But they want people to come into the industry. And one of the last conference education sessions that I sat in, one of the questions that was asked, there was probably about 200 people in the room. And they said, how many of you people fell into this industry by chance? How many went to seek this out intentionally? And the people who intentionally sought out the industry was less than 10% in the room. And the majority of us were like, yeah, we fell into it just by chance. Even though I've been coming to Tehachapi since I was 3. Like, I didn't move here till junior high. Never thought of renewables ever until I fell into it.
Yeah. And
so that's the thing. And the guy's response was, we need more people who want to intentionally come into the industry and seek it out, but they don't understand that this is available. So it's the educational awareness that this opportunity happens. So everybody's trying to get that information out. And I've told these big industry intermediary companies, you need to pool your resources, pay that arm and a leg, and do a Super Bowl halftime commercial. Honestly.
Okay. With what message and goal in mind?
This is a career for you. This is something you did. This is not without. Everybody has one of these.
Yeah.
But this doesn't function without everything else behind it.
Right.
Doesn't function without power. Doesn't function without fiber. Doesn't function without the infrastructure of our nation. So people don't realize that. They think that this is just, that's all. There's nothing else.
Right.
They don't understand everything else.
Okay.
So,
I'm with you.
You see
more
kind of where
understanding for the population.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
That the career is there. It's not just the programming or software, behind it.
We know electric cars don't magically run.
Yeah. We need all energy sources to sustain ourselves and do what we do to function and secure, everything around us. Without power.
Okay. So educating the population is kind of the goal. More education sharing. Well, I tell you what, that's been one of the goals and passions for Jacob and I right here with the podcast. We're working our tails off to give everybody a new episode and more information every week.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, we don't have Super Bowl ad money.
No, but that's why the big dogs, not yet, but that's why.
We got local donation money, maybe. we can afford this game we're playing.
You know what? We could definitely do it at the local youth football.
Right. Put an ad there.
But the huge organizations out there, you have, SIA and you have SEPA and you have ACP and, NATE and all these other organizations that I work with, I'm sure on some level, even WII, can't forget about them. At some level, they all probably talk to each other, whether it's, the general peon like me, talking to somebody else, that we bump into, and we see at every conference because you recognize faces. You may not remember exactly, you're like, oh yeah, that is, I saw them at here. Okay, that is, all right. And then you can go have that conversation because, RE Plus was crazy.
Yeah, it's quickly turning out to be my least favorite because it's so big. And so loud and noisy. You miss out on those personal conversations and networking, I think, is the leading piece of all of these, right?
Yes, it is.
Network, get us together and let's learn about what's new, right? Because there's new workforce development challenges and improvements that need to be shared. There's new technology. There's, all different types of ideas and inventions, and you got to go learn and see who's where, and people move around. So networking is kind of the key to me, but trying to hit some new ones this year and next. The Veterans and Energy I'm very excited about. I'm going to do RE ACP Recharge next week.
Oh, awesome.
Ross and I, and we've never been to it. I did a Wind Summit 2 weeks ago in Houston. That's a brand new one this year. They did one in Melbourne and one in Houston. There were like 60 of us in a theater style room, and they had panel discussions and topics and presentations.
Oh, well, that's like...
And I thought this was so much more valuable than, 40,000 people running around Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Right? And you could hardly find a meal. Right? There's just people everywhere.
It was overwhelming. It really was. But organizing ahead of time is not difficult. It just can be daunting because, you have 1,700 exhibitors, and like not everybody uses the app to, upload their profile so you can see who's going to be there. So you can plan ahead of time to make those connections to network. Mm-hmm. Because I can call, Billy Bob and for 3 years, but I'll track down Billy Bob at a conference and finally make that connection.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, but I've been calling you. I've been trying to,
We didn't even talk at RE+. I looked over one time and saw the two of you talking.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, say hi to Wendy. No, it just disappeared and never happened.
Yeah. No, but at the same time, the odds of me running into anybody I know are slim and none. You have to be intentional. Right. Like I had, my 10 regulars that I go say hi to. And it's interesting because one of my telecom buddies that hired like 400 Airstreams graduates in 3 years, it was from Ericsson. He was there. He's switching industries. Well, maybe, I don't know, but he was helping out a company that's going into the supply business for BESS and everything like that. And so he was there, and this is his first conference for this industry, and he's like overwhelmed, like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, yeah, it's 8 to 10 miles a day. Enjoy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, how do you think we're doing in Tehachapi? We know that this is the birthplace of this industry, I'm not going to say, for our country.
Yeah.
And we have a whole lot of it going on with lots of, and, within not too far of a drive, all these new technologies, brand new companies, lots of people working in it, lots of leaders sitting around here. Should we start doing some networking events locally?
I think so. There was Kern County Economic Council a few years ago. They had I went with one of the owners, and it was really good. I was still new to like the whole networking for the industry and stuff like that. So I was a little intimidated. Now I'm a little more bold and upfront and can get out there. But I don't know if they're going to do those again. But I think we should. I really think we should have a summit. For even say just Southern California, if it's not local, because thinking about going through high school here, like I never even thought about it. But then that was like 30 years ago. There really wasn't as a plethora of opportunity. I mean, nobody was leaving the mountain. Nobody was traveling, going anywhere. So no roles were going to open. So it wasn't a thing, but now it's a thing. It really is, because you look at what has been built just in an hour drive either direction, and how much opportunity there is.
It's amazing.
It is.
Gigawatts of power. Right?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Well, and you think
and I don't know about a summit. I was thinking more town hall, a little more social kind of.
Well, I know a facility that's probably big enough.
Do you? All right. Well, we'll keep that in mind. Once we get our numbers up that high,
we'll have to talk to somebody. But I think that would be a really good idea.
There's been a handful of folks putting that in my ear over the last month or so, and I'm starting to love it. I'm starting to love it. I think maybe it's time we start doing something right around here.
Yeah, I think it would be a really good idea because it folds into the education piece, educating the masses and letting people know what is available and helping them understand like why it is the way that it is. Why do we need all these sources of energy? Because we're growing faster and faster.
Yeah.
And, it's not necessarily AI that's driving it. It's just us humans, period. And we enjoy our conveniences and air conditioning, heat, and all that.
So if we get something going, we count on you to be a speaker?
Maybe I would entertain. I would entertain the idea. Well, I'm good in small group settings. Bigger settings.
No, yeah. I mean, everything starts small.
Yeah. No, I definitely.
I think we need it.
Yeah.
In our area.
I agree. I think so. I think it'd be really good. It'd be kind of interesting to see, because I've done our local job fairs.
Yeah.
It's been a minute.
I did one this year too.
Yeah. It's so funny because I love it, because I get out from behind the table and like I'll go talk to everybody else that's there, in between the lulls, and I'll go talk to everybody there. And I've had people sitting behind the table and they're like, how do you get out from behind? Because you get up and you go. Like you have to, like you want somebody to come work for you. You just can't wait, hope they come to get your little piece of chocolate,
right.
that you have, or your little trinket, whatever it is. No, you got to go out and grab them and bring them in.
What's Up Renewables is growing, and we're looking for new sponsors to join us. Our show connects leaders, innovators, and field professionals across the renewable industry, and our sponsors are part of that conversation. Some have seen their network expand instantly. Others have grown revenue and brand visibility through the connections they've made right here. If you want your company to reach the people driving the future of clean energy, now's the time to get involved. Contact us at media@whatsuprenewables.com to become a sponsor today. We did one here in Tehachapi this summer, and I'd never done one before in my life. So I was thinking also, how do I attract them? And we had some other Altarians in town, and they all showed up to support. And we brought backdrops. We had all these gear, tools, stuff. I went overkill because I'd never done one. I just knew, I was like, how do I attract people? And I was like, well, we got cool stuff. And it worked. And I kind of looked at the other ones and went, ooh, you missed the mark.
That is the absolute key is the equipment. And I learned that actually, so I had to think about this when you guys said, hey, do you want to do this? I'm like, okay, what was my first introduction to the company? And it was one of two things, and it took me a minute to figure out which one it was. And one was leaving the youth football field and seeing the sign for like years, future home of, and that was there for years because they were going to build on that corner right there across from the football field. My second exposure to the company was my youngest son at third grade went to this local elementary. Well, we go up to the mountain and they spend a day learning about nature and all that kind of stuff. Well, David Tepes had come to represent the company, but it was to educate the kids about the industry. And my son, of course, was the biggest third grader. And they're like, hey, come put on this harness. And so like, I hear it get picked up and this kid's afraid of heights. Like he's like, yeah, I'm not going to do this. But he puts on the harness and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, okay. So that's where, when I did the few job fairs that I did, I always I think I always confiscated Mike Cervantes' equipment. And I was like, hey, Mike, I need your stuff. And I'm like, I'll get it back to you tomorrow. Like, it'll be fine. But I would have whatever descending device and everything like that. And of course, half the stuff I didn't know what it was or what it was used for. I just knew that it was cool to have all this stuff. And because I've gone to like high school ones and, adult job fairs. And I really like the high school ones where they have those career days and they bring them in. And I've gone to, Chance got me to go up to the reservation up there.
Oh, yeah?
Porterville. Yeah. So I don't even remember how that conversation
started. Was that this year?
No, this was years ago. Way back in the day. I think he was still with Field Corps at the time. I don't even know how hindsight, I don't remember, but I went up there and I did that a couple of times and that was really cool. And it was, the kids on the reservation and I'm like, yeah, you're 16. I can't come to school yet,
Not
but
quite
at
yet.
least getting them interested in, oh, this is a career opportunity. And then, every adult that walked by, I'm like, hey, you want to work in the industry? And so that was really fun. I was like, you come to school with me and he'll hire you. That was the pitch at the time. But it was really great.
That's funny you say putting on the harness because that was our game. We had played this game. Let's see how many people you can get to put on that harness.
Nice.
Extra points for a hard hat, glasses, and gloves. So this is the game we were playing.
That is the best. Oh my gosh. I like that. Okay. So if I get to do it again and I go with the team, yeah, that'll be
right. And it was my gear, which has never been used, so it's perfectly clean. But I have gear. I don't know why yet.
Hey, better to have it and not need it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. No, it goes around with me just in case. Oh, I did get to use it once. I went up
yeah. Why
space frame. Yep. That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll work on the Tehachapi one. Maybe in your honor, it should be the event that remains nameless.
I like that.
There you go. That. It's the name you can't say.
It's the name you can't say.
Well, what is it? Can't tell you.
Can't tell you. Super secret. That's the best.
That'd be good. We'll have to. I think there's enough people around here that probably want to do something like that. But what's one piece of advice you give students that you give all students, maybe?
Don't get disheartened. Like you had talked about earlier with the amount of applications they put out there. They will, put out 60 applications. They'll get maybe 2 or 3 interviews, and they don't get that opportunity to start working. And so sometimes they'll get disheartened, or they'll get hyper focused on one company and they don't have the patience. Keep at it. Don't give up, because it'll work out. It will. And that door may be a not now. It's not a no, it's a not now. Right. And whether you come back full cycle, 6 years later, it could be, and then that door's open again, and it's even a better opportunity. Don't get disheartened, because we always have the best intentions with our lives, like what we want to do, where we want to go, and that path may take 14 different turns to get to where you are.
Don't get disheartened.
Yeah.
And don't give up.
Yeah.
That's great advice. Another question, since you like to try and remind yourself of things, is there a piece of advice that you give these students that you're secretly reminding yourself of? I do this quite often when I talk to groups. Some of my advice is also for me.
Oh, absolutely. That's 100%. Other than what I just said, I look for the sunshine every day.
Okay.
So look for the sunshine every day. Find the joy in the little things is really something that I do. And I mean, I couldn't tell you I've given so much advice, and not trying to toot my own horn, but like something will come out of my mouth and I'm like, where'd that come from? I'm like, that was really good. I like that. Whatever it was.
Someone write that down.
Somebody write that down. I recently had a short plane ride to Phoenix, and happened to be sitting next to a guy that was out here training, safety training for what is it called now? Tehachapi Cement Monolith.
Oh, okay.
And so we got talking about it, and being local, I know tons of people that work out there, and it was just a small world. And I can't remember what I said to him, but he had said something about, he was happy to be coming home, see his wife and all that kind of stuff. And I had said something about, well, don't forget to maintain your relationship with her. I said, you guys have young kids, and right now it's all about the kids. It's kid. I said, but you still have to maintain that relationship with her for your longevity. And because when the kids are gone, you guys are going to have to learn how to be together again. You shouldn't ever lose that. And so something along those lines. And, he was, probably like 32, and he's like, oh my God, he's like, what have I been doing? Kind of thing. And I was like, it's okay, dude. Like, I'm like, just, those small moments. It doesn't have to be a lot. It can be bologna sandwiches at the park, with just grape juice. Like, you don't have to get fancy, whatever that is. And so it was kind of cool. Just, I love to, when I talked about earlier about love talking apprenticeship, not that I know a lot about safety stuff, but it was really cool to talk with him about safety stuff as
Yeah.
well. And just, the different industry but it's still intertwined because they wear harnesses
Yeah, sure.
because they have to climb.
Sure.
I mean, yeah, it's, staircase or whatever, but they didn't know until a couple of years ago here locally that the equipment they had was not sufficient. And that was a really good learning curve for them.
I'm glad someone showed up and let them know.
It was actually a former wind technician
This makes sense.
that went to work out there, and he looked at that harness and he went, yeah, no. I know. Nope. Stand down. I'm not going to do it. And they're like, what do you mean? And he helped them get it all worked out. But yeah,
Calling a stop work.
Well,
Thank you for that. So what I heard was don't quit and look for the sunshine.
oh yeah, look for the sunshine.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Yeah.
And I'm going to share one that I started sharing with other people, but 28 and a half years married, and I have not missed a time traveling back home that I didn't take Steph out for dinner that night. It didn't matter
Nice.
if it was gone 1 day or 2 months or traveled 40 some hours across the planet to get home. It was a shower, shave, and take her out.
Yeah.
And I haven't missed one.
That's awesome.
And I've started sharing that because it felt like insanely personal, but started sharing it. And then I didn't realize I was till yesterday. A young man who's going to be leaving this weekend, he came to we had a meeting and early kind of dinner, and he shows up and he goes, I can only stay about 15 minutes. What you were saying, I'm going to go take my girlfriend out tonight because I got to leave this weekend.
yeah.
And he stayed 20, and I was kind of watching too. But, you got to go.
Yeah.
You got to go.
That's good. Well, you got to help them
Yeah.
stay accountable.
Yeah.
Help them stay accountable for what they say they're going to do.
Maybe it's wife. I can't remember his girlfriend or wife. But yeah.
Yeah. No, and that's those little tiny things mean so much because I'm thinking, oh, she didn't have to cook dinner. That's so awesome. Like
Probably, yeah. Fair.
I'm like, yeah, I'd be like, yeah, when are you coming home? I don't have to cook dinner. Sweet, let's go. Like,
Yeah. No, but when the kids were little, it was prearrange a babysitter and go out.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. You need those. You need that
Some people got to come first. Yeah.
Well, this is the hard. Actually, this is one of the pieces of advice that I do get that I give, and you actually need to put yourself first. Because if you don't put yourself first, how are you going to take care of everyone else in your family?
Yeah.
Everyone else that means something near and dear to your heart. So yes, when you're traveling, you need to try not to eat as much junk food and
Right.
all that kind of stuff, which is hard not to do. I mean, I don't travel like the techs do, but I travel a lot. And it's like, it's just so easy just to go grab that, that little pre-made sandwich from the whatever and just eat that. But like, no, you need to, walk and do all those things to maintain not just your physical health, but your mental health. Whether it's reading a book or actually booking a spa day. Not that I don't see too many technicians doing that, but
Maybe we should.
I do. I honestly think that they should, because your body is under so much stress and pressure and all that. You really don't realize that the pain you have in your hand is what's causing your headache.
Right.
Because it's all interconnected. So a massage, say once a quarter or whatever, could probably help with just some of that fatigue that they're feeling. Unpopular opinion, but I really think
I think this is brilliant.
I think everybody that uses their body so physically, even if you're just sitting at a desk, your poor posture or whatever it is. I like this whole time I'm sitting here, I'm like, man, my grandma would be smacking me because I got horrible posture. But
it is hard. I find myself slouching too.
I'm like, I don't care. I'm
think
comfortable.
about it. Then you gotta move this thing.
I know. That's why I was like, I don't want to move this too much. So that's why.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Jacobs doesn't like you to hit it, so we try not to do that, I guess. Yeah.
I think I did once.
Yeah. We've that part of the conversation. Well, it's great advice, right? If you're not good for yourself, you're not going to be good for anyone else, right? Good to yourself can't be good. And this, mental health and physical health comes up more and more in these conversations. We've been talking about maybe, highlighting some more of that.
Yeah.
To share with the folks.
And it's any industry. It's anything, and you don't. And people who are struggling don't always show They get masters at hiding it. And so just the simple, can't say his name. One of the things, and he's probably even said this to you, how's your soul? And that hits differently than how you doing today? Oh, I'm well. That's usually your response, even if I'm having a crap day. Oh, I'm well. Depends on who I'm talking to. If it's my besties at work, then it's a whole other,
Sure,
other conversation. But if you're going to ask that question, be prepared to hear the answer.
Right.
Regardless of what it is. And like when people will ask me a question, I'm like, oh, I'll tell you. Are you sure you want to hear my answer?
Yeah.
Like, forewarning.
You are full of so much great advice, and it makes sense. You're working with students day in and day out. You have to be full of advice. They're needing to hear it. If there's ever a cup to go fill, it's a student.
Oh, absolutely.
And I love the passion that you're just continuing to do it.
Yeah.
That's
it's so weird not interacting with them as directly anymore, but having them come in the office, and having those conversations with them. And it could be anything. There was one student that came in and he said something about they were struggling with their like toddler or whatever it was. And they had to keep like every night, whatever cartoon musical had to stay playing all night long. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, no, but that's, how they did it. And they're like, they were tired of that particular cartoon musical. And so my coworker at the time said, well, try this one. I don't watch those cartoon musicals, so I don't know which one. Could have been Coco Melon, could have been Trolls. I don't know. Like whatever ones, like, I didn't watch them. And he's like, oh, it's so much better. Like, it did them good to change it up. And I was just like, it's just the weirdest conversations you have. It's not always about like, I need help finding a job.
right.
So, but yeah. So
Well, I love that they're being vulnerable and sharing any area that needs improvement.
Yeah.
And if you're willing to work on improving yourself, you're in great shape in life.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of which, I did schedule a gym session with my son.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
I don't get very many of those.
No.
Our schedules don't always align.
Well, no, and they're adult children. They don't want to talk or see us or spend time with us. What?
I don't want to hear that, Wendy. I think they do. They're struggling to find their time.
No, they do.
All they want to do is hang out with their dad. No, I know.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, though. That's good.
Thank you for coming here today.
Yeah,
and
I loved it.
I'd love to have you back on. It's been a real treat getting to know you this way. Even though our careers have crossed here and there, but this was really nice.
Yeah, no.
And I kind of think you're going to have new stories and new things to share with the industry.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd love to have you back and keep doing that.
It'd be great.
And next time it's different words, maybe, or
different
or you'll
words.
have a different game.
I don't know. We'll think about something. Yeah.
I think that's cool, though.
Yeah.
And we get to do a little donation locally later.
Oh yeah. But I don't think it was enough. I think whatever it turns out to be, it's probably gonna be like $5. And I'm like, yeah, that's nothing. Like it's got
at $1 a word.
Yeah.
I guarantee we're over that.
Yeah, I would hope so. Otherwise.
All right. Okay. Let's get the stats and then think about changing the game later.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see where we're at.
Yeah. But no, I had a great time. So yeah, no, I would love to come back, and I'm so glad I wasn't sweating like a pig. So
No. You're great to talk to. This was perfect.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Wendy.